Ito ang 106.3 Dance Radio. Dance Radio.
Prepare yourself.
Ang silid-aralan sa radyo, hatid namin ay makabagong paraan ng pagtuturo at kalaman. Mapaumaga, tanghali o hapon man yan, ang istasyong magbibigay impormasyon kahit saan man.
Alright, here we go.
106.3 Dance Radio. Doña Aurora National High School, Santa Rita, Aurora, Isabela.
This
106.3 DWDR FM. Pre-calculus, advanced algebra, intermediate algebra, trigonometry, elementary algebra, geometry. Mga araling dapat tuklasin. Mathematics Learning Area. Mathematics kahit saan, kahit kailan. Mathematics, maaasahan inyong tututukan dito sa 106.3 DWDR FM. Basta Dance Radio, learning is amazing!
Hi! Nakakatuwa talaga pag nakita ko. Anyong, good afternoon everyone! Kumusta po kayong lahat? I hope you're all doing well. Today is Thursday, November 25, 2021, and we are now on the first week of quarter 1. Welcome to Mata Live sa Facebook Live, and happy listening to our students who are tuned in to our station 106.3 FM Dance Radio. Isang napakagandang hapon po sa ating lahat. So, yours truly is Teacher Marife Guillermo. At syempre, yung katabi ko ngayon, nakikita nyo naman ang ating Jamboard writer, si Ma'am Delma Quaresma.
Hello!
Okay.
Hello kay Sir Sunny.
Yes, pagaling ka, sir.
Pagaling ka na namin, sir.
Yes, true. Pagaling ka, sir. Kayo pong lahat dyan. Pagaling po kayo. And of course, special greetings also to our officer in charge, Sir Rodrigo V. Pascua, to our assistant principal, Ma'am Ruby R. Guillermo, and of course, to all our head teachers, especially to our supervisory head, Ma'am Merlinda Dante, to the dance faculty and staff, especially to all the teachers of mathematics learning area. Good afternoon po sa inyong lahat. At syempre, Ma'am Del, hindi natin makakalimutan ng ating mga kliyente ngayon, di ba?
Importante.
Yes.
Ay, wala siyang audio. Ay, wala akong audio.
Hindi, meron.
Wala tayong audio? Meron.
Ito.
Wala silang audio? Ay. Ayan, okay na daw.
Bakit hindi kita naririnig? Sao ka man? Huwag patalastas yun.
Saglit po. Nagkaka-problema kami ng konti. Ayan, okay na daw.
Okay. So, meron tayong, nung nakaraan ang clientele natin ay ang mga grade 10. Di ba, Ma'am Del?
Yes, tama.
Yes. So, ngayon naman, grade 9 na tayo dahil
Yes.
nasa quarter 2 na tayo, shift 1, week 1. So, grade 9 learners na tayo ngayon. So, may we welcome grade 9 learners. Inasahan namin na nakikinig kayong lahat ngayon. So, special greetings sa ating mga clientele na grade 9, 9 Mendel, 9 Darwin, 9 Pasture, 9 SPJ, 9 SPA, 9 Anonas, 9 Atis, 9 Chico, 9 Avocado, 9
Dapat walang
Lanzones,
maisipan. 9 Calamansi, 9 Dalandan, 9 Makopa, 9 Mango. Parang nagugutom ako sa mga binabasa ko. And 9 Guyabano.
Yes, di ba? Mga prutas lahat
Oo, parang
yan.
fruit shake ang gusto ko mamaya.
So, importante
Mami,
ang prutas ngayon.
sabay yun,
Oo,
Mami.
Mami, gusto ko ng fruit shake. Okay. So, reminder sa inyong lahat, our dear learners, don't forget to comment your full name and section to the chat box for your attendance. And of course, syempre mag-iumpisa na tayo ngayon sa pakikuha nyo ng inyong learning activity sheets, paper and pen for the second quarter, week 1. And syempre, para makasali ka mamaya sa ating matroleta, ay kailangan mong i-comment ang iyong pangalan, ang iyong section, ang iyong tamang sagot, question number at ang iyong tamang sagot, at kung sino yung 10 makakakuha.
Siya ang pasok.
Yes, siya ang pasok na pasok sa ating raffle. Okay, at mananalo ng magkano na? 30 peso worth of load. Sponsored by
Ma'am Larna Tan
Yes.
Nevado. Thank you po uli, ma'am. More blessings po sa inyo.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, Ma'am Lorna. Okay, so before we start, may I introduce our learning facilitators? Our master teacher, one of course. We have Teacher Corazon Molina, our Jamboard writer, Teacher Delma Quaresma, our electronic raffle coordinator, Teacher Marilyn Martin Juliano, and of course, our presentation designer and our BI scriptwriter of today's discussion, Teacher Naida Mangabat. At ang mga gwapong technical specialist na kasama namin dito ngayon, of course, we have Teacher Joshel and Teacher Dennis. Okay, so ibibigay na po natin ang unang tanong sa Matroleta quiz po natin para alam nyo na pong isasagot ninyo mamaya after ng ating RBI airing. Okay, unang tanong.
Ayan na. Ready na. Ayun.
Okay, ayan na. Naka-flash na sa inyong screen. So, a car travels a distance of d kilometer in t hours. The formula that relates d to t is d is equal to kt. What kind of variation is it? Ulitin ko, a car travels a distance of d kilometer in t hours. The formula that relates d to t is d is equal to kt. What kind of variation is it? A, direct, B, inverse, C, joint, and D, combined. Okay, so para masagot mo ang tanong na yan, may we listen attentively to the airing of the RBI lesson titled Direct Variation.
Wala nang makakapigil pa. Sulong Arangkada 106.3 Dance Radio sa Aurora, Isabela.
Edukasyo'y susulong, basta't magtulong-tulong, sulong edukalidad. Dance Radio, learning is amazing.
Precalculus,
Advanced Algebra,
Intermediate Algebra, Trigonometry,
Elementary Algebra,
Geometry, mga aralin na dapat tuklasin.
Mathematics Learning Area,
Mathematics, kahit saan, kahit kailan.
Mathematics maaasahan.
Inyong tututukan dito sa
106.3,
Dance Radio.
Learning is amazing!
A blessed day to our dear listeners, especially to our grade 9 learners. This is your school on the air in mathematics. It is a great privilege that you can join us in another episode of learning while having fun through radio. Make it a habit to tune in to our station 106.3, the WDR-FM Dance Radio. I will be your host for today. I am Teacher Rufino Arpomede Jr. of Doña Aurora National High School. Let us start the day with positivity. I hope that you will enjoy learning while listening to your lesson. How are you feeling today?
I'm good.
Make sure that you are comfortably seated while listening. And please prepare all the needed materials just like pen, learning activity sheets, and paper because we will be having an enjoyable lesson for today. I hope all is set and you are ready to listen and learn from our lesson about direct variation. Here is your radio teacher, Teacher Rowella S. Santos.
A wonderful day to our grade 9 learners. I am Teacher Rowella and I will be with you until we finish our lesson on direct variation. Are you ready?
Oh, yes!
Wow! I think you are now ready to learn. But before we will start our new lesson, let us have a trivia. Do you know that an increasing demand for paper contributes to the destruction of trees from which papers are made? If waste papers were recycled regularly, it would help prevent the cutting of trees, global warming, and other adverse effects that would destroy the environment. Paper recycling does not only save the earth, but also contribute to the economy of the country and to the increase in income of some individuals. This is one situation where questions such as, will a decrease in production of paper contribute to the decrease in the number of trees being cut? Can be answered using the concept of variations. There are types of variations: direct variation, inverse variations, joint variations, and combined variations.
Oh, yes!
This time, we are going to discuss direct variation. To start with, let us define direct variation. Direct variation is a relationship between two variables in which the ratio is a constant. For two quantities x and y, an increase in x causes an increase in y as well. Similarly, a decrease in x causes a decrease in y. We can say that y varies directly as x, or y is directly proportional to x. To understand more about this, may we have an investigation. Say for example, a local government organization launches a recycling campaign of waste materials in schools in order to raise students' awareness of environmental protection and the effects of climate change. Every kilogram of waste materials earn points that can be exchanged for school supplies and grocery items. Paper, which is the number one waste collected, earns 5 points for every kilo. Now, how do the number of kilogram of waste materials collected represented by W and the points earned represented by P affect each other?
As the number of kilogram of waste materials collected increases, the points earned also increase.
Yes, you're right. As the number of kilogram of waste materials collected increases, the points earned also increase. Now, can you give a mathematical statement to represent the relation?
W is equal to K times P, ma'am.
That is correct. W equals K times P, where W is the number of kilogram of waste materials collected and P is the points earned per kilogram. Is there a constant number involved?
Oh, yes!
Explain the process that you have used in finding out the constant.
To get the constant, simply divide the points earned per kilogram by the number of kilogram of waste materials collected.
Yes, very good. There is a constant number involved. And to get the constant, simply divide the points earned per kilogram by the number of kilogram of waste materials collected. Is it clear, my dear learners?
Yes, ma'am.
That's great! We shall be back after this reminder.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, ma'am. I have just finished accomplishing the task found in my module. How can I send you my outputs for checking and feedbacking?
Oh, that's a nice question. There are actually 3 ways for a student like you to submit your outputs. 1. It could be via online. That is, if you are capable to connect online. You can just upload your outputs in your Google Classroom, or you can take pictures and send them through your group chat or messenger account.
Ma'am, how about if we do not have internet connection?
If you do not have internet connection, you can submit your accomplished tasks in 2 ways. 1. You can ask your parents to submit your outputs in the designated drop-off center. 2. You can save your outputs if you have available flash drive, CD, or DVD at home, and submit it in the designated drop-off center in your respective barangay.
Wow! It's nice to know that there are varied ways on how we can submit our accomplished task.
Always remember, for submission of outputs, you can do it via online, offline, or physical submission. Because at Dance, we make amazing things possible.
We're back! Now, we proceed to the first example. If y varies directly as x, and y equals 18 when x equals 6, what is the equation? Again, if y varies directly as x, and y equals 18 when x equals 6, what is the equation?
18 is equal to k times 6, ma'am.
That is correct. Substituting the values of y, which is 18, and x, which is 6, in the formula y equals k times x, we have 18 equals k times 6. Simplifying it, what is the constant k?
K is 3, madam.
You're right. The relation y varies directly as x translates to y equals k times x. So, to get the constant, simply divide both sides of the equation by 6. So, we get k is 3. Since k is 3, what is our new equation?
Y equals 3x, ma'am.
Marvelous! Y equals 3x. Let us have the next example. This concerns 2 pairs of values of x and y. If y varies directly as x, and y equals 10 when x equals 2, find y when x equals 10. Again, if y varies directly as x, and y equals 10 when x equals 2, find y when x equals 10. First, set the relation. What is the relation?
10 equals k times 2, madam.
Very good. 10 equals k times 2. Now, what is the constant of the variation?
K is 5, ma'am.
Great answer! The constant of variation is 5. How about the equation of variation?
Y is equal to 5x, Mom.
Very good, you're right. The equation of variation is y equals 5 times x. Next, what is the value of y when x equals 10?
Y is 50, Mom.
Brilliant answer! Y is 50. We got y simply by substituting the value of x in the equation y equals 5x. So, we have y equals 5 times 10. Then, y is 50.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you still with us? Thank you for staying with us. We shall have more of our lesson after the short break.
Amazing tips sa pag-aaral ngayong new normal.
Una, matulog sa tamang oras. Siguraduhin mula 7 hanggang 8 oras ang iyong pagtulog.
Sapat na iyan upang gumana ng maayos ang utak upang makapag-isip. Siguradong good day ka, kaibigan.
Ikalawa, magtala o gumawa ng sariling schedule. Mahalaga ang time management, kaibigan.
Itala ang mga subject na kinakailangan mong pag-aralan sa buong araw. Maglaan ng oras para sa mga ito.
Ikatlo, pumili ng lugar sa iyong pag-aaral. Focus.
Kailangan mo yan. Kaya nararapat na komportable
At tahimik na lugar ang iyong kalalagyan.
Huwag ring kalilimutang ipahinga ang utak.
Find time to relax upang handa ka muling mag-aral kinabukasan.
At iyan ang ating amazing tips, kaibigan.
Kahit new normal, tuloy pa rin ang pag-aaral.
We are back! This time, we are going to translate a relationship between two quantities into a variation statement. Turn your learning activity sheets on page 9, activity 1 titled, What's My Equation? Number 1. A varies directly as B and A equals 15 when B is 5. What is the constant? Again, A varies directly as B and A equals 15 when B is 5. What is the constant K?
The constant K is equal to 3, Madam.
Very good, dear learners. And what about the equation of variation?
The equation of variation is A equals 3B.
Excellent! Yes! The equation of the variation is A equals 3 times B. For our next example, jot this down, dear learners. H is directly proportional to J, and H equals 12 when J equals 8. What is the constant of variation and its equation? I repeat. H is directly proportional to J, and H equals 12 when J equals 8. What is the constant of variation?
The constant K is 3 halves.
Precisely! Yes! How about the equation of variation?
The equation of variation is H equals 3 over 2 times J.
Very good! Yes! The equation of the variation is H equals 3 over 2 times J. Wow! You're great, dear learners! I hope you have learned a lot from our discussion. Continue answering the activities and be honest in checking your answer. Anyway, the answers are already provided at the back of your learning activity sheets. We're done! Congratulations! You did a great job! For those who did not make it, I know you can do it next time. Don't lose hope. Never give up because making great things take time. If you have questions on how to do the activities, feel free to message or call your teacher in Mathematics 9 on the numbers provided in your self-learning kits. Did you understand, dear learners?
Yes, ma'am.
We shall have a recap of our lesson after this short break.
Facts about COVID-19. What is COVID-19? COVID-19 is a disease caused by a new strain of coronavirus. What are symptoms of COVID-19? Symptoms can include fever, cough, and shortness of breath. In more severe cases, infection can cause pneumonia or breathing difficulties. How can we prevent COVID-19? To prevent the spread of COVID-19, clean your hand often. Maintain a safe distance. Wear masks when physical distancing is not possible. Don't touch your eyes, nose, or mouth. Cover your nose and mouth with your bent elbow or a tissue when you cough or sneeze. Stay home when you feel unwell, and if you have a fever, cough, and difficulty breathing, seek medical attention. This health advisory is brought to you by World Health Organization, Doña Aurora National High School, and this station.
We're back! So, before we will end up, may we have a recap about the lesson that we have today? How will you describe direct variation, dear learners?
Direct variation is a relationship between two variables in which the ratio is a constant.
Very good! For two quantities x and y, an increase in x causes an increase in y as well. Similarly, a decrease in x causes a decrease in y. We can say that y varies directly as x, or y is directly proportional to x. Y equals k times x is the equation of the variation. I hope that you have mastered all the concepts discussed. You will apply these concepts during the assessment, so please don't forget them so that you will be able to perform well in the given assessment.
All right.
Wow! We're done! Thank you for staying with me. Once again, this is your teacher on the air, Teacher Rowella S. Santos from Doña Aurora National High School. Have a wonderful day! Always remember that we can make our learning fun and easy if we have a positive mindset that we can do it. God bless and stay safe, everyone! Bye!
Thank you, Teacher Ruela. Congratulations, dear learners. Indeed, we have a wonderful day today. If you have questions on how to do the remaining activities, feel free to message or call your teacher in grade 9 mathematics. Remember to submit your outputs at the designated area in your barangay on the scheduled day. You can also submit your outputs through online platforms. Don't forget to strictly follow the necessary health protocols that our government has issued when submitting your outputs. Our next lesson is inverse variation. Make sure to tune in to our school's radio station 106.3 DWDR-FM Dance Radio, where learning is amazing. On behalf of the production team, we would like to thank our script writer, Teacher Naida Valencia Mangabat, our radio teacher, Teacher Rowella S. Santos, And our quality assurance team, Teacher Beverly L. Ramirez and Ma'am Merlinda D. Dante, Head Teacher 5 of the Mathematics Learning Area. I am your radio host and your technical specialist, Teacher Rufino R. Pomeda Jr. God bless everyone. Goodbye.
Precalculus,
Advanced algebra,
intermediate algebra, trigonometry,
elementary algebra,
geometry, mga aralin na dapat tuklasin.
Mathematics Learning Area.
Mathematics, kahit saan, kahit kailan.
Mathematics maaasahan.
Inyong tututukan dito sa
106.3
Dance Radio.
Learning is amazing!
Dance Radio, siniparalan sa radyo, atid namin makabago, paraan ang pagtuturo.
Wala nang makakapigil pa. Sulong Arangkada 106.3 Dance Radio sa Aurora, Isabela.
Edukasyo'y susulong, basta't magtulong-tulong, sulong edukalidad. Dance Radio, learning is amazing.
Okay, so we're back to Mata Live sa Facebook Live. And I hope you've learned a lot, our dear learners. So, at this moment, may I call on Teacher Corazon Molina for the walkthrough on the different types of variation.
Okay, good afternoon everyone. And of course, thank you to Teacher Marife. So, you have just heard the RBI hearing about the types of variations. And these types of variations are as follows. The direct variation, the inverse variation, the joint variation, and of course, the combined variations. As it was,
Sir Denny.
my technical problem.
Wala siyang
Okay.
PowerPoint.
Let's wait. Okay. So,
Ayan
let's
na.
continue.
Ayan na.
As mentioned while ago in the RBI hearing about variation, first, it was discussed, the first type of variation that was discussed is the direct variation, which is defined as a relationship between two variables in which the ratio is constant. This constant is what we call the value of K. For two quantities, X and Y, an increase in X means an increase in Y as well. Similarly, a decrease in X causes a decrease in Y. We can say that Y varies directly as X, or Y is directly proportional to X. So, the equation is Y is equal to Kx. That is the equation for a direct variation. Now, let's have some applications about the direct variation. One is the amount of hours you work, and the amount of the amount of your paycheck, which means the longer you work, the higher amount you are paid. Okay? The second example is the speed of a car and the distance traveled in a certain amount of time. Those are just few examples or applications of direct variations in our real life. Okay? So that's all for the RBI hearing this time. I think, Ma'am Marife, we are ready for the first math roulette draw.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, thank you, Teacher Cora. So, are you ready for the answer of number 1?
Yes.
So, bago natin... Okay, the answer is letter A. So, congratulations to the following students. We have 10 learners who got the correct answer. The first 10. Okay, Christian Vino of 9 Darwin. Edeza Santos of 9 Lanzones. Kimberlyn Mendoza, 9 Darwin. Lovely Fabro of 9 SPJ. Natasha Tan of 9 Darwin. Angeli Pineda of 9 Darwin. Jewel Lacaninaw of 9 SPJ. Alison Marsan, 9 Pasture. Mariel Guya, 9 Macopa. And Glyza Ann Salvador of 9 SPJ.
Yes.
Ang gagaling nila, Ma'am Delma.
Nakakatuwa. Tatlo ang 9 SPJ kung pasok. Sige,
Yes.
tingnan natin.
Okay.
Sino ang mananalo?
Spin na natin. At sino kaya ang mananalo?
Yan, tingnan
Ayan,
natin.
Wow! Congratulations, Glyza Ann Salvador of 9 SPJ.
Yan, congratulations na.
Nanalo ka ng 30 pesos
1 out of
worth of
5.
load. Okay, so ito na po ang pangalawang tanong. Which of the following situations represent inverse variation? A. The area of the wall to the amount of paint used to cover it. B. The distance an airplane flies to the time traveling. C. The age of the used car to its resale value. D. The amount of money raised in a concert to the number of tickets sold. Ulitin ko. Which of the following situations represent inverse variation? A. The area of the wall to the amount of paint used to cover it. B. The distance an airplane flies to the time traveling. C. The age of the used car to its resale value. And D. The amount of money raised in a concert to the number of tickets sold. Okay, so ano pang hinihintay ninyo? Mag-text na, i-chat na ang iyong complete name, section, question number, and your correct answer. Okay, this time may I call on Ma'am Naida Mangabat for the learning objectives and discussion of inverse variation with example, together with Teacher Delma showing you the actual solution on how it is being solved.
Hello. Okay, naririnig ba ako, Ma'am Cora?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So, here is our learning objectives today. First, identify and define inverse, joint, and combined variations. Second, hindi na-edit yun. Parehong first. Walang gustong magpahuli. Solve problems on inverse, joint, and combined variations. So, as it was mentioned a while ago, on our RBI lesson, there are 3 types of variation. The first one was discussed in the RBI and the other will be discussed now, live, dito sa Doña Aurora. Okay, so let us have the inverse variations. Inverse variation is a relationship between 2 variables in which the product is a constant. Okay? Inverse is also described for 2 quantities, x and y. An increase in x causes a decrease in y or vice versa. Okay? And we can say that y varies inversely as x, or we have the equation y equals k over x. So, ang isang clue dito mga anak, pag nasa baba yung variable na isa, that is inverse. Okay. Let us have an example. Example number 1. The speed of a car varies inversely as the time t in a constant distance covered. Okay. So, the problem or the situation will be represented by an equation like S is equal to K over T. Okay, so yan siya. And the table shows the speed. So, we have 30, 40, 60, 80, 100, and the time is 8, 6, 4, 3, 2.4. The table shows that with the same distance covered, the time to travel may vary depending on how fast the car is. Okay. Another inverse variation can be represented into a graph. Okay, ayan. Ayan yung graph niya. In inverse variation, guys, the graph is hyperbola that will never passes through the origin. This will show that the faster you drive, the lesser time will it take you to reach your destination. Yan. Okay, so let us have this example to solve. What is the equation where y varies inversely as x when y equals 9 and x equals 3? Okay. So here is the solution. Yan. Since the equation of the inverse variation is y equals k over x, and given that y is equal to 9 when x is equal to 3, we simply substitute y equals k over x. Then, we come up with, yung 9 will be substituted by, yung y will be substituted by 9, and x is 3. So, 9 is equal to k over 3. Okay. So, by cross multiplication, we come up with k equals 27. Therefore, the equation of the variation is y equals 27 over x. Yan. Pag nakinig kayo mga anak sa discussion at sa example mamaya ni Ma'am Delma, masasagot ninyo yung tanong sa Roleta question number 2. So, let us welcome Teacher Delma for the other example using the Jamboard. Teacher Delma.
Yan, hello. So, nakikita nyo mga anak yung question natin na sasagutin for our Jamboard. 8 men have enough food for 15 weeks. How long would the food last for 10 men? So, this is an example of inverse variation. Lundag tayo sa Google Jamboard natin and ipakita natin kung paano ito isosolve. So, ang given natin dyan, 8 men ay enough daw yung food for 15 weeks. How long? Gano'n naman magtatagal yung food kung merong 10 lalaki na kakain? Ang dami, no? Sige, wait lang natin ang Google Jamboard, ha? Oo. 15 weeks pa rin kaya? 10 men na yon? Siyempre, hindi. Tataas ba? Dadami ba? Hahaba ba yung time? Or iigse? So, paano natin to isosolve? Hindi pa nakikita yung Google Jamboard o late yun, sir? Meron na ba? Nag-a-appear na ba ang aking Google Jamboard? Wala pa? Wala. So, medyo may delay kasi mga anak. Hintayin natin ang pagdating ni Google Jamboard. Pag-appear niya. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
May countdown talaga. Happy New Year!
Oo, ganyan talaga.
Oo, minsan talaga nade-delay.
No?
Oo, talagang gano'n. May pagkakataon na nade-delay, may pagkakataon naman
anyway,
na...
sa inverse kasi, habang yung isang tumataas yung unang value, yung second value niya ay bumababa naman. Kaya siya inverse.
Yes.
It does not follow. Wala pa rin si Google Jamboard.
Sige. Habang hinihintay natin ang Google Jamboard,
mag-a-appear din yan.
Kasi talagang minsan talaga, ito na talaga yung normal. Ngayong new normal.
Ayan na.
Ayan na.
Si Google Jamboard. Na-traffic kasi may ano daw dun sa...
Na-traffic. Okay. So,
okay. Ang given natin ay 8 men, 15 weeks. Sulat natin ha. 8 men for 15 weeks. Ang ganda ng sulat ko. Pasensya na. Then, for 10 men, 10 naman, gaano kaya magtatagal yung food? So, paano natin to isosolve? This is men over weeks. Pero dahil nga inverse variation, ganito natin siya isusulat. So, 8 is equal to, dito natin ilalagay si 15 weeks. Kasi inverse. So, dito naman, 8 men, 15 weeks, and then, saan si 10? Ay, bakit mali yung ano ko? Sige. 8 men, 15 weeks, men dito, di ba? 10x. Yan. So, we have, cross-multiply tayo, 10x is equal to 8 times 15. Ganyan na lang. Baka mapagkamalan na decimal point yung ano. So, 8 times 15 divided by 10, that would be the value of Rx, which is actually ilang weeks. So, ang sagot dito ay 12, which would mean, if there were 10 men, then the food will only last for 12 weeks. Yan ang sagot sa sample problem natin on inverse variation. Sana naintindihan mga anak at nasundan.
Okay, thank you, Teacher Naida and Teacher Delma. So, now we have already 10, congratulations to 10 winners. 10 winners. Kasi 10 yung nakakuha ng tamang sagot na unang 10. Okay, so ito na sila. Tingnan natin kung sino kaya ang papalaring manalo sa kanilang 10. Okay,
Yes.
Congratulations to Trisha Hernandez of 9 Chico, Christian Vino of 9 Darwin, Jewel Lacalinaw, pangalawa niya na to.
Yes.
9 SPJ. Alison Marsan, 9 Pasture, pati siya, pangalawa na. Althea May Galabay, 9 Darwin. Fatima Manukdok, 9 Lanzones. Ismael Pascual, 9 SPJ. Renuvel Ganela of 9 Pasture, Hans Galinato of 9 SPJ, and Natasha Perltan of 9 Darwin.
Yan, nakakatuwa kasi well represented. Ay, parang walang SPA, mga anak. Ang mga 9 SPA ko, hello!
Pero mga SPJ,
ay, very
Ma'am Delma,
active,
diba?
very
Dami
good.
nila, oh.
Shout out sa kanilang advisor na si Ma'am
paulit-ulit
Annabelle
dito,
Jacopido.
Oh, diba?
Ma'am Annabelle.
Napaka-active.
Yan. Sinong panalo?
Okay, ang panalo ay si Althea May Galabay of 9 Darwin. Congratulations, Althea.
Congratulations.
Yes, the answer is letter
May tatlo
C.
pa, huwag kayong mag-alala.
Yes. Althea May Galabay. Okay. So now, may we have the, are you ready for the question for number 3? So we have here, if y varies inversely, sige, saglit lang, no? Hintayin natin yung screen natin. Okay? So if y varies inversely as x,
Hintayin lang natin.
hintayin lang natin. Sige, habang hintayin natin, mag-eyeglasses muna tayo. If y varies directly, if y varies inversely as x, what is the equation of the variation when y is equal to -6 and x is equal to -5? Ulitin ko, if y varies inversely as x, what is the equation of the variation when y is equal to -6 and x is equal to -5? So we have here so y is equal to 11 over x. B, y is equal to -11 over x. C, y is equal to -30 over x. And D, y is equal to 30 over x. Okay, so ano pang hinihintay ninyo, our dear learners? I-type na ang iyong pangalan, section, question number, and of course, ang iyong tamang sagot.
Sana
Okay.
may makita akong 9 SPA sa
Oo,
susunod
kahit
na
din sana ako. Hinihintay ko ang
students natin.
Anonas, Atis, and Chico, nasan na kayo? Kailangan kong mabasa ang inyong pangalan nyo dito. Okay. So, nakalimutan ko tuloy. At this moment, may we call on Teacher Cora for the discussion of joint variation and Teacher Delma for the Google Jamboard. Lumingiti si Ma'am Cora sa akin kanina, sabi ko.
Ako na, sabi niya.
Thank you again, Ma'am Marife. So, the second type of variation was already discussed to you by Teacher Naida. Mine is to discuss joint variation, which is the third type of variation. What is the joint variation all about? Joint from the word joint. So, meaning, mag-join sila. Okay? But it does not involve addition here. It involves multiplication. Joint variation defines a variable which is directly proportional to the product of two or more variables. So, this is a product of two or more variables. Now, one variation statement which is Z varies jointly as X and Y is translated into an equation which is Z equals K X Y, meaning to say the first variable is Z, which is equated with K, which is the constant of variation, multiplied by the product of X and Y. So, the clue word is the word jointly to identify that that is a joint variation. To find the constant of variation, you simply divide both sides of the equation by XY so that you will arrive at K is equal to Z, I should say, divided by the product of X, Y. So, this time we will have one application or one example for joint variation. Paano natin isosolve ito? Okay? The first example is X varies jointly as W, Y, and Z. So, makikita ninyo, mayroon tayong tatlong variables. What are they? W, Y, and Z. One set of values is X is equal to 18, W is equal to 2, Y is equal to 6, and Z is equal, Z is equal to 5. Now, 5 ba yun? 3. Parang 5 kasi. Okay. Ano ang unknown dito? Wala tayong constant of variation. So, hahanapin muna natin ang constant of variation represented by K. We are going to use the set of values stated earlier. X equals 18, W is 2, Y is 6, and Z is equal to 3. 5. Ma'am Naida, 5 yon. Okay. By substitution, we use the equation X is equal to K times W times Y times Z. So, isasubstitute natin what is X, that is equal to 18, equals K, unknown pa rin yung K. Ano ang W? W is 2 multiplied by the value of Y, which is 6, multiplied by the value of Z, which is 5. So, by further simplification, you will arrive at K is equal to, or 18 is equal to 60K. So, anong gagawin natin? Let us divide both sides by 60 so that our K, or constant of variation, is 18 over 60, or i-reduce natin yan, magiging 3 over 10. So, the constant of variation is 3 over 10. Now, this time, let us find the value of X when W is 5, Y is 12, and Z is equal to 3. Again, substitute the value of K in the given equation so that the equation becomes X is equal to 3 over 10 times W times Y times Z. So, makikita nyo sa screen board, X is equal to 3 over 10 times 5 times 12 times 3. Imumultiply natin yan, the product, or X is equal to 54. I-cancel mo yung 5 and 10, magiging 2 yung denominator. Then, 12 and 2, magiging 6 times 3. The product will become 54. So, what is the value of X? X is equal to 54. That is only one of the applications of joint variation. Now, for the second example, I think Ma'am Delma is ready for the Jamboard. Google Jamboard. Take it away, Ma'am Delma.
Thank you, Ma'am Cora. So, again, meron tayong ipapakita at isosolve na isang problem on joint variation. Sana na nasusundan mga anak, ha? Okay. Pa-share po ng ating Google Jamboard ulit, sir. Okay, so let's have the second problem for joint variation. And the problem is the cost of labor varies jointly as the number of workers and the number of days they work. If 8 men working 9 days are paid 576 pesos, what is the constant of variations? So, sulat muna natin. Pwede naman yung ating marker dito. Okay. So, yung cost daw varies jointly. So, magkasama ito. Ano yung magkasama? Workers and number of days. So, we have yung cost of labor. Ang ganda talaga ng sulat, di ba? Workers times number of days. Days ito. So, days. Pero meron tayong constant of variation. So, pag sinolve natin yan, ano yung cost? 576 pesos equals, ang workers natin ay, if 8 men working, 8 men ang workers natin, so that's 8, times, ang days natin ay 9, tapos, ang constant of variation natin, usually, we use the letter or the variable K. So, we have 576 is equal to 8 times 9 times K. Kasi, the cost varies jointly as the number of workers and as the number of days. So, multiply tayo mga anak, 576. Pwede na itong 8 times 9 is 72. So, we divide this by 8 times 9, that's 72. Therefore, K is equal to 576 divided by 72 is 8. 8 is the constant of variations in this problem. Ang bilis lang, di ba? Sa variation lang, make sure na nasusundan nyo kung saan natin inilalagay yung mga variables natin. Denominator ba siya o numerator? Magmumultiply ba tayo or magdi-divide pa? So, yan po ang example for joint variation.
Okay, thank you, Teacher Delma and Teacher Cora. So now may we reveal the answer for question number 3. The answer is letter D, and congratulations to the following students.
Yes!
Christian Vino of 9 Darwin, Jewel Lacanilaw of 9 SPJ,
Yes!
pangatlo na to.
4 na sila ngayon.
Yes, Kate Ordinario of 9 Darwin, Shermel
active
Ramirez,
ng
9
9
Lanzones,
SPJ.
Ismael Pascual of 9 SPJ, very active.
True.
Renuvel
pangalawa niya na
Danela
rin yan.
of 9 Pasture, Kimberlyn Mendoza of 9 Darwin, Lorly Orate of 9 SPJ, John Mark Pancho of 9 Darwin, and Hans Galinato of 9 SPJ.
Yes. So, ay nakakatuwa. Ang saya
Pangatlong
ko
tanong
ngayon.
ito. So, hindi pa ako nawala ng pag-asa. May dalawang tanong pa akong hinihintay
Kung
para
mag-a-appear na ba?
ang aking 9 anonas, 9 atis, and 9 chico.
Join na din kayo, 9 SPA. Okay, raffle na natin. Sino kaya sa kanila?
Spin na natin.
Ito yung masaya dun eh, di ba?
Yes.
Ikaw
I-raffle
ba?
lahat ang winners. Parang ganon. Renuvel Ganela of 9 Pasture.
Oy, congratulations,
Congratulations.
You won 30 peso load.
Yes,
Salamat
sponsored by
ulit, Ma'am Larna Tan Nevado.
Yes, thank you,
Yan,
Ma'am
thank you
Lorna.
po.
God bless you more. Okay, so now may we have the question number 4. What is the equation that represents the variation of the given situation using K as the constant of variation? The area of a triangle varies jointly as its altitude and its base. A is equal to KHB. B is equal to KAB. C, A is equal to K over HB. And D is equal to KAB. Okay. So, ulitin ko, what is the equation that represents the variation of the given situation using K as the constant of variation? The area of a triangle varies jointly as its altitude and its base. A is equal to KHB. B is equal to KAB. C, A is equal to K over HB, and D is equal to H is equal to KAB. Okay, so to help you in answering this question, may we call on Teacher Naida and Teacher Delma for the discussion of combined variation with the actual solution using the Google Jamboard.
Yes, thank you, Teacher Marife. Siguro naman, may mga magsasagot na mamaya na manggagaling sa 9 mango at 9 guyabano. Grabe, umaasa talaga ako. Okay, so this time let us have now the combined variation. Combined variation is a variation where a variable is directly proportional to one variable and inversely to another variable. Kaya pala tinawag na combined, Teacher Cora, kasi combination ng direct at inverse. Combined variation statement, we have here an example. Z varies directly as X and inversely as Y. And we have the combined variation equation as Z is equal to K directly to X and inversely to Y. And yun, nasa baba yung Y. Or Zy is equal to Kx. Or K, the formula of constant is Zy over X. Okay, so let us have an example. Yan. Example for combined variation. Ito siya. If Q varies directly as the cube of V and inversely as the square of D, and Q is equal to 400 when V is equal to 2 and D is equal to 3. Yun yung isang set, mga anak. What is Q or find Q when V is equal to 3 and D is equal to 10? So since may hinahanap dito, kailangan alamin muna natin kung ano yung equation ng variation. So ito siya. The equation is Q is equal to KV cube. So meaning, directly proportional to the cube of V. Kaya V cube siya. And bakit nasa baba yung D square? Kasi inversely. So we have on the denominator. Okay. So using the equation of the given problem, we are going to solve first for K. So given that Q is 400, V is 2, D is equal to 3. Let us substitute to the equation Q equals KV cube over D square. So we have 400 is equal to K times 2 cube over 3 square. Okay, yung solution sa screen natin, shortcut. Paano siya naging 450? 2 cube is equal to 8. Then, 3 square is equal to 9. So, by cross multiplication, 400 times 9 divided by 8 is 450. So, that is the constant of variation. Pero hindi pa yan ang kasagutan sa tanong sa problem. Ang tinatanong doon is, what is the value of Q when V is equal to 3 and D is equal to 10? Okay? So again, let us substitute the equation Q equals KV cube over D square. Okay? And we have now Q equals 450. Yun yung nasolve natin na constant. Okay? Times 3 cube given. Yun. Yun nun magpakita yung cursor doon. And over D square, so we have 10 square. So simplifying it further, we have Q is equal to 121.5. Hay, nakakalito. Sabi ng iba dyan. Okay, so eto ang ating Jamboard again. Para sa gunon, yung pagkalito ninyo mga anak ay mababawasan kahit konti man lamang. Let us welcome once again Teacher Delma.
Yan, I'm back. Nasa pangatlo na tayong type ng variation. This time dito sa third type ay pinagsama na si direct and si inverse. Kaya ang tawag sa kanya ay combined variation. So let's have this problem under combined variation. Wait lang ha, edit natin mga anak kasi ito dapat is si variable A. A varies directly as, hindi capital letter A yan. Yan. A varies directly as B and inversely as C. So yung variables natin ay A, B, C. One set of values is A is equal to 10, B is equal to 5, and C is equal to 3. Find B when A is equal to 12 and C is equal to 14. So, bago natin ma-solve at mahanapan yung value ni B, kailangan muna nating hanapin ang constant of variation. So, gagamitin natin itong isang set of values natin wherein A is equal to 10, B is equal to 5, and C is equal to 3. How do we write that? So, sulat natin siya this way. Since A varies directly as B, si B ay numerator, meron tayong constant of variation, so kaya magiging KB yan, and inversely as C. Kapag inverse, lagi natin siyang sinusulat as denominator. So, ito yung ating formula or equation. So, using this first set here, A is equal to 10, and B is equal to 5, K, yan ang hinahanap natin. Kailangan nating mahanap ang constant of variation, and C is equal to 3. So, given this, we can solve for the value of K, which is, we cross multiply, this is over 1, 30 is equal to 5K. Then, we divide by 5, K is equal to 6. So, ang constant of variation natin is equal to 6. Then, we are ready to solve for the value of B. Gagamitin ulit natin to. This time, the value of A is 12. Is equal to, ang K natin ay 6. So, we write it here, 6 times. Meron ba tayong B? Wala. Yun ang sinosolve natin. So, we write it as B over ang C natin ay 14. Nasundan ba? So, we cross multiply again. This is 6 times b is 6b. So, 6b is equal to 12 times 14. Okay, so we divide it by 6 kasi 6 ang coefficient ni b. Dito mga anak, wag na muna kayo mag-multiply. 12 times 14, then divide by 6. Mag-simplify na lang dito. 12 and 6, this is 1, this is 2. So, b, eto 6 over 6 is 1. Therefore, b is equal to 2 times 14 is 28. When a is 12, c is 14, the value of b is 28. So, yan ang solution natin for the example under combined variation. So, I hope nakatulong yung mga ipinakita naming solutions for the different problems on variations.
Okay, thank you, Teacher Delma and Teacher Naida. Okay, so, thank you sa 42,000 na viewers natin.
Ang dami.
Diba?
Gawin natin 50.
Baka naman pwedeng maging... diba? 40,000. Okay, so congratulations. And dahil dyan, dahil sa 40,000 viewers na yan, meron tayong 10 na nakakuha ng tamang sagot. Yung first 10. Although maraming mga nakakakuha ng tamang sagot. Kaya lang syempre, kung sino yung unang 10 lang na makakapag-send ng tamang sagot, unang 10 na makakapag-send ng tamang sagot, syempre sila lang din yung iraraffle natin ngayon. Diba, Teacher Delma?
Yes. Pero we appreciate mga anak kasi patuloy pa rin silang kahit nakaraffle na tayo, patuloy pa rin silang nagsesend ng kanilang answers.
Okay, so congratulations to Christian Vino of 9 Darwin, Jewel Lakalinaw of 9 SPJ, Glyza Salvador of 9 SPJ, Kimberlyn Mendoza of 9 Darwin, Ismael Pascual of 9 SPJ, Alison Marsan of 9 Pasture, John Mark Pancho of 9 Darwin, Edesa Santos of 9 Lanzones, Angel and Domingo 9 Lanzones, Altea Galabay of 9 Darwin, and the winner is Jewel Lakalinaw of 9 SPJ.
Yes.
Congratulations! Grabe, kanina pa ito, diba? Sa wakas, nanalo siya.
Natutuwa naman ako kasi sinasamahan niya tayo kasi mula umpisa, question number 1.
Sabi nga nila, try and try until you succeed. O nag-succeed siya sa pang-apat na tanong.
Totoo.
Diba? So, nanalo siya ngayon ng 30 pesos worth of load sponsored by Ma'am Lina Tan.
Thank you ulit, Ma'am.
For the last question, for the matruleta, so we have number 5. So, if R varies directly as S and inversely as the square of U and R is equal to 2, when S is equal to 12 and U is equal to 2, what is the constant of variation? A, K is equal to 2 over 9. B, K is equal to 9 over 2. C, K is equal to 4 over 9. D, K is equal to 9 over 4. Okay, so what are you waiting for? I-type na ang kumpletong pangalan, section, question number, at ang iyong tamang sagot. Okay. So this time, so habang naghihintay tayo ng sagot, let us summarize the lesson. So may we call on Teacher Naida mga bat together with Ma'am Cora for the application.
Summary muna tayo, Teacher Marife. Ma'am Marife, last question na. Umaasa pa rin ako mamaya.
Parehas tayo.
9 guyabana and 9 mango, mga anak. Huwag niyo naman akong biguin. Okay, so we have learned today that inverse variation is a relationship between two variables in which the product is a constant. For two quantities x and y, an increase in x causes decrease in y, or vice versa. We can say that y varies inversely as x or y is equal to x. What else, Teacher Cora?
Okay, for joint variation, Joint variation defines a variable which is directly proportional to the product of two or more variables. Given the variation statement, Z varies jointly as X and Y. And as an equation, it is Z equals KXY or K is equal to Z over XY. What else, ma'am?
Okay.
Naida?
Lastly, we have also combined variation. Combined variation is a variation where a variable is directly proportional to one variable and inversely to another variable. Combined variation statement example is Z varies directly as X and inversely as Y. And the equations we have ZY equals KX or K equals ZY over X. Okay, so that is what we have learned for today. So what else do we have today, Teacher Cora?
Okay. Another one is an application of variations. And so, I hope you are ready to listen to watch the video clip.
Mahina. Ewan ko lang ha.
Add the westerly variation and subtract the easterly variation. To convert a magnetic course to a true course, or a magnetic bearing to a true bearing, you must apply the following formula. From magnetic to true, subtract the westerly variation and add the easterly variation.
Okay, so that is what we have learned for today. Teacher Marife, back to you.
Yes, thank you, Teacher Naida and Teacher Cora. Okay, so this time may we have now the winners for the 5th question.
Ang
So,
saya-saya.
Ito na, tingnan niyo, pakinggan niyo mabuti kung
Ang
kakasama kayo sa...
saya-saya.
Umaasa pa ako dyan, Teacher Marife.
Harap nyo.
Okay, so we have Christian Vino of 9 Darwin, Lorly Orate of 9 SPJ, Glyza Salvador of 9 SPJ, Kimberly Mendoza of 9 Darwin, Ismael Pascual of 9 SPJ, Jewel Lacalilao of 9 SPJ, Edesa Santos of 9 Lanzones, Alison Marzan of 9 Pasture, Jeshel Bukad of 9 Lanzones, and Hans Galinato of 9 SPJ.
Wala pa rin.
Wala talaga. Okay, wala talaga. Okay, so tignan natin kung si...
Edeza
Very active ang
Santos.
9 SPJ
Oo,
ngayon.
nakakatuwa.
Pero in fairness lahat
Pa-shout
sila.
out sa
Oo.
sa advisor din nila. Naku,
Oo,
matutuwa
si Ma'am Annabel Acupido.
Okay. Yan.
So,
Ay, hinihintay ko din
malakas
na
ang kanilang
manood si
signal,
Fel Rita.
Oo.
Kasi very active din ang kanya.
Yes.
Balasa.
Oo nga. Para na maibasa ko naman yung pangalan niya dito.
Jezreel ba yan?
Jezreel. Bukad.
Nakahabol siya. Siya
And
kaya?
Hans Galinato.
Hans?
Tingnan natin kung sino kaya
Hans
ang Galinato.
Galinato.
Yan.
9SPJ, you made my day mga anak. Napaka-active nyo. Kayo ang pinaka-active ata. At palagi kong nakikitang section
nila ngayon.
sa mga sumagot sa ating question. 10 na ba to? Ayan. Ready na ba kayo? Sino ang ating last winner?
Ayan.
SPJ yan.
Congratulations to
Glyza
Salvador
Ayan.
of 9 SPJ. Pangalawa na, so may 60 pesos
Siya
na
ang
siya.
una kanina, no?
Pangalawa
Si Glyza
na niya
ba yung
ito,
una
si
kanina?
Glyza. Siya yung first winner natin kanina.
Inumpisahan niya, tinapos niya.
din. No? Umpisahan ko, tatapusin ko.
Di ba? Congratulations, anak. Congratulations din sa mga sumali at patuloy pa rin na nagsesend. Uy, may 10 router for
Yes.
viewers. Aba, may 10 router for daw na
And
viewers.
Teacher Delma, nanonood din si Ma'am Tina kanina. Ma'am Tina Pascua.
Wow.
Okay,
Nakita
and Ma'am
ko,
si Shirley
si
Arimboyotan.
Johnny Dayaw Dante.
Yes, nanonood din si DJ. Oh, happy watching. Okay, so congratulations sa inyong lahat. So we would like to thank our production team, our technical specialist, syempre, si Sir Joshel and si Sir Dennis, to our assistant principal, Ma'am Ruby Guillermo, our officer in charge, Sir Rodrigo V. Pascua. Special thanks also to our very loving head teacher 5 of Mathematics Learning Area. Of course, ang kanyang napaka-blooming na picture.
Oh.
Sabi niya kanina, hindi na na-flash. O ngayon, hindi kami naubusan ng oras. Ngayon, medyo maluwag pa yung time namin. Kaya ma-flash natin yung picture niya.
Okay, tagalan natin yan.
Yung kasi
tapos
sabi niya
magpo-close.
kanina, hindi naman na na-flash ang picture.
Yan.
Sabi niya.
Ay, may
Okay,
pagganon
ayan na.
pa. Tiyan na.
Si Ma'am Marlinda Dayaw
May
Dante.
pagganon si Mami,
Okay. And of course, to
Baka naman, Mami.
yours truly. Baka naman, Mami. Okay.
Alam mo na. Umingiti din yung dalawang pogi dito. Si
Mami,
Sir Dennis,
Mami,
saka si
baka
Sir,
naman.
Joshel. Alam na yan.
Alam na this.
Alam na this.
And of course, to our discussants, teachers, Ma'am Corazon Molina, Teacher Dalma Quaresma, and Teacher Marilyn Juliano, our raffle coordinator, and our presentation designer and our very script writer of today's live discussion, Teacher Naida Mangaban.
Thank you for watching.
Yes, thank you for joining and staying with us today. See you again next time on Mata Live sa Facebook Live! Bye! Stay safe, everyone! Oo, ngayon lang tayo nagkaroon ng proper closing. sa 4 na linggo na.
Pre-calculus, advanced algebra, intermediate algebra, trigonometry, elementary algebra, geometry, mga araling dapat tuklasin. Mathematics Learning Area. Mathematics kahit saan, kahit kailan. Mathematics, maaasahan, inyong tututukan dito sa 106.3 DWDR-FM. Basta Dance Radio, learning is amazing! Ito ang 106.3 Dance Radio. Dance Radio.
Prepare yourself.
Ang silid-aralan sa radyo, hatid namin ay makabagong paraan ng pagtuturo at kalaman. Mapaumaga, tanghali o hapon man yan. Ang istasyong magbibigay impormasyon kahit saan man.
For something big. Alright, here we go.
106.3 Dance Radio. Doña Aurora National High School, Santa Rita, Aurora, Isabela.
This
106.3 DWDR-FM.